Well, hey there. Happy No Nonsense November. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Day 1010 of What You Up To Now. Documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world, the corporate world, to the online world of business. 2017, had the opportunity as part of my divorce to divest myself of all of my other business interests, primarily with my ex-husband, and do what I wanted to do. And I had always been curious about the online world, watched it from afar, never really, stuck my toe in, learned a couple of things, but never really had the time or the energy to vote, to devote. Vote today, it's election day, presidential election in the United States. I never had enough time to devote to actually figuring out the online stuff, how to do things online. And sometimes there's this belief, I don't know where it comes from, but we think that when we're going to go online, we got to figure all this stuff out ourselves, especially when we're going to create our own online business. For some reason, this false belief comes in that you got to figure it all out, you got to do it all yourself. And it was probably 2+ years into my journey that I realized, oh my God, why am I trying to figure all this stuff out myself? I never would have done it in the offline world. Whenever I needed to do a certain specific thing, I would find someone and I would hire them either on a project basis or bring them into my organization to actually do that thing for me. So why the heck would I think online that I have to learn all these things? And so after a 2-year down wrong path journey of trying stuff and basically doing the spaghetti method, throw it against the wall and see what sticks, I started to realize I needed to be more intentional. I needed to actually do the things that I knew I needed to do to be successful online. And so I've been documenting my journey before I figured these things out, and then as I'm moving forward through doing things in a more systematic way and doing things that are right for me, not necessarily things that everybody else is doing, but things that are right and are working for me. Because that's what No Nonsense November is all about. It's about sharing the tools that I've picked up over my career and through my journey so far that have really been beneficial to me. I started doing it as part of the Get Up and Go challenge. Last month I did a 30+ day Get Up and Go challenge. It's the 4th one I've done this year since COVID-19 hit. And in that I just share a lot of life lessons learned, a lot of strategy, and a SOAP framework, a framework to guarantee that you'll always get better results after any change or challenge that you face than before you face that change or challenge. And so this time through, I added a tool a day. I started sharing at least one tool a day. I brainstormed a list, and I realized I had like 6 pages of different tools just off the top of my head that I use. Some I haven't used for 20 years, but I used it and I had great success with it. So I would revisit that if it was appropriate throughout those days of the challenge. And I had so many left over, I thought, well, in November, I want to take a day off from the challenge. A day off. I want to take a month off from the challenge. So what am I going to do? So I decided I would, and actually thanks to a friend of mine who was participating in the challenge, she said, well, just do a tool a day. So now I'm sharing a tool a day in No Nonsense November. And I think I chose No Nonsense November because No Shave November doesn't really apply to me. Or I choose not to have it apply to me. And I wanted to do something that would like cut through all the BS and all the nonsense that's been going on, at least here in America. And say, nope, you can have tools that you can use to control your life. Maybe you can't control the people around you sometimes, but you can always control your life and your response to all the craziness that's going on in the world. Between COVID, the rioting, the election, and all this nonsense, it's election day, so hopefully this will be resolved today and we can move forward with our lives because people are mature and amazing adults. We'll see, I guess. We'll definitely see. I haven't gone for a walk yet today. It's early and I haven't gotten out, but I'm going to go out and I have to walk by the polls because that's the only place I am within walking distance. So I'll end up walking by it at least once today, sometime today. But I early voted. I actually am one of the supposed 100 million people that have already voted. I find it fascinating that 100 million people have already supposedly early voted, given that I think the average turnout for a presidential election is like 60 to 70 million. So it makes you wonder. It makes me wonder about, I have a statistics background. I did a lot of statistics in corporate America and in my businesses. And it just makes me wonder because statistically, it already looks like there's some shenanigans going on, but that's just my opinion. All right, so No Nonsense November, journaling today. We talked about the tool of journaling and how powerful that is. There's been decades, like 30 years worth and hundreds of studies on the power of journaling and the benefits of journaling, writing stuff down. There's the famous goals study where they followed college graduates and I'm going to paraphrase and mess it up, but they followed college graduates, tracked their performance. Those that literally wrote down their goals, they were like 1% or 3% of the class. Their net worth was more than the rest of the class, the 97% combined, just that 3% or something. So I am definitely messing up that study, but I think many of us have been exposed to it and have probably better knowledge than I do on it. But there's things like that, and there's hundreds of studies that have proven the benefits and the power of journaling. I also said journalism, and then I was going to gag, of journaling. So I like sharing tools like that I actually use. I have always got with me a journal or a notebook. Anybody could stop me anytime on the street or on one of my walks. And even on my walks, in my backpack, there's a little journal notebook that I always have, because you never know when wisdom or an aha moment or an idea is going to strike you. So I always want to have pen and paper close by so that I can capture that. And then I'll pull out my magnifying glass and I'll read it, or I'll tell somebody else to read it to me. So journaling was our discussion today. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, and it happens pretty often, more often than I suspected, I pick out of this book, I randomly pick an idiom a day to share and supersize your business. And I'm getting to the end of the book. There's supposedly only 600 in the book, but today was already day 610. So, and I've got probably 20 or 30 more flagged to cover. So I just randomly will open the book to whatever page I've got marked, and then I pick the idiom that I haven't done yet on that page, and I do that idiom. So today's was to be too big for your britches. But what was interesting, not that that's interesting in and of itself, but what was interesting about that is today's fun challenge in the little do one fun thing every day challenge. I do a challenge every day to wake up my voice called, and it's just one thing a day, one thing that scares you, one thing a day that makes you happy, or this year's one thing a day that, one fun thing a day, do one fun thing a day. And today it was all about, sometimes you need to put your parents or put people in their place, politely put people in their place, but sometimes you need to put people in your place. So to me, to be too big for your britches and to put people in their place, both of them are about judging other people. And I'm like, well, who am I to judge? Who is anyone else to judge other people, other people's opinions about things, other people's behavior, unless it's harming another human being? Who cares, right? So I thought that was interesting. So often, and what's fun about that is I do the idiom the night before. I didn't used to, but with my granddaughter and everything, I learned that I have to pick out an idiom the night before and then figure out what I'm going to say about it, or just have keynote ideas about, a couple bullet points about what I want to say about it. But then I don't look at the fun challenge book until the morning, right before I do my videos, right, to warm up my voice and get me going in the morning, to wake me up. And I always find it fascinating when they actually coincide in idea or topic or thought, or maybe I just find ways to make them be linked up and coincide. But sometimes I just think it's synchronicity, and it's fun when that happens. And today felt like one of those days. So that's what I'm working on a challenge summit. I guess I'm going to start talking about that now. Haven't done very much work on it. Have one other lady that wants to work on it with me, which I want to put a team together to do this summit. I did a summit in early 2019, and I did it by myself, all by myself, meaning I found all the speakers, interviewed all the speakers, did all the behind the scenes stuff, set up the funnels, did the communication, did the promotion, everything by myself for that challenge, or that summit. It wasn't a challenge, for that summit. And it was really fun. It was super fun to do. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do a summit. So I decided with one of my friends, she said, hey, we talked about doing a project. You still want to do it? And the project I had in mind was to do a summit on challenges. And so I said, yeah, I was thinking about doing a challenge summit. And so she said she would love to, I think she wants to participate in it. So I might need to look for a few more people that want to do more than participate, want to actually be contributors and help with some of the back end things. Now, I've already got a summit funnel created, right? So it's pretty easy to change the colors and the context and change everything about that funnel that's already been created. So that's easy, but I'd like to get other people involved this time, making it not just my thing and about me doing it. I don't have a problem doing the interviews. I like doing it. I love learning from all the speakers. And one of the ways to ensure that I learn from all the speakers, selfish reasons people do summits, by the way, is so I can get their expert advice, so I can learn what they're doing, what's working for them, what they like best about it, what they don't like, etc. So that's coming up. And then I have been dilly-dallying about my challenge book. I need to really commit to getting her done by the end of the year. I think I need to say, hey, I will have my challenge transcript done by the end of the year, because otherwise it won't get done. And I'm saying not wholly done, but my version, my first run through it, done and committed to paper, so that someone else can take it and edit it and do the cool things that they do with books that I don't really know how to do, especially given the other things that I'm working on. So I think I need to make sure I commit to that as well. So what are you committed to doing before the end of the year? What are you interested in having, doing, or being? How are you going to finish off this year? How do you want to finish off this year? I want to finish off this year strong, because this has been one of those years where you just want to say, life, I'm going to show you that no matter what you dish out, no matter what you throw my way, I'm going to make it through it. I'm going to handle it. I'm going to come out better than before I experienced all this chaos and all this craziness and all this nonsense. So that's my mission. That's my plan. What's your plan for the rest of the year? All right. Have an awesome day. Any questions I can help you out with? Ask in the comments below. Even if I can't help, I can find you somebody that will, or something that will. I'll be with you tomorrow. Have a great day. Go vote if you haven't voted. Take care. Bye.